Hello, Oracles! Tesla pops nearly 5% today as this win streak continues and we continue growing and getting higher and higher after the annual shareholder meeting. So today we also got the 8K, so we're going to dive into that a little bit. I haven't had a chance to really dive into it, so we'll just go over a couple of small things that I had seen in there. But otherwise, stock going up. We filled that gap at 183. So we'll take a look at some of the other gaps and kind of discuss where we think we could go from here based upon the information we've got from Tesla themselves and what's going on in the macro environment. We'll get into all of that in just a minute. All right, so looking at the charts here, as we can see, up 4.85% on the day, up $8.73, closing at 188.87. So again, this gap here at 183.58, that filled relatively early in the day. So then we just kept on climbing from there. Now, again, the lines that we have drawn here, we have this 191 level of resistance. So we'll see if we could tap off of that. And when you mark that up with where the RSI is right now at 65, we keep pushing higher. I have a feeling we'll break past that 191. But if we're going to follow the trends we've been going from overbought to oversold to overbought, if this is the trend we are going at, we will most likely push close to this $200 level. Whether we push over that $200 level or not will come down to probably what's going on in the macro environment or some other sort of push of volume that we have coming in for whatever reason is happening. So volume today was 131 million shares trading hands. Not super high. We've seen much higher than this. So still kind of low and in the middle. So this tells me that there's still a lot of big money buyers still sitting on the sidelines. We saw that big volume coming in that January timeframe when the stock was down around that $100 to $120 level. So at those points, that's when we saw a lot of big money coming in. We saw institutions buying in heavily. So will we see that again? We may end up waiting for the next pullback. So again, if we're following the RSI, as an institution, they're probably not going to be buying in heavy at these levels where we're getting closer to this overbought range. Seeing these swings, they would be more apt to wait until we get that pullback, maybe to the next oversold point, and start buying in there. That's just my take on this, but that's typically what we've seen going on when it comes to these levels. And so we do still have this tiny little gap down here to 162.95. So chances are we're probably going to end up pushing up to this $200 level. How much higher above that we push, I do not know. And then it's going to be a matter of where do we end up trading sideways or do we end up pulling down from here and then filling this gap at 162.95 and then the next gap down below us at 146. And so now when it comes to the macro environment, right now we are kind of just awaiting the next CPI and PPI data, and then we're going to get the Fed meeting in June. The Fed meeting in June is where we're going to be anticipating the Fed coming out and pausing the interest rate hikes. If that's the case, we will most likely end up seeing the market, maybe kind of continue trading sideways, similar to what we saw from the last FOMC meeting, where when we saw that, it was kind of like, hey, we got the news that we were expecting, carry on business as usual. And then we've been kind of rallying a little bit since then. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, the market is anticipating a pause coming at the next meeting. Now, if the Fed comes out at the next meeting and they give us a 25 basis point hike, all bets are off and we could probably come crashing down. Timing wise, looking at us climbing up to that overbought range for Tesla, we might end up getting to that point. Maybe it's going to be a sell the new situation. Maybe we get a pause, but we sell off anyway. You have to remember, in a sideways market, which is basically what we're in right now, is a sideways trading market, you're going to have a lot of fluctuations up and down. Just like we've been seeing for Tesla stock, we see that with a lot of other stocks as well. Tesla just happens to be one of those stocks where people are trading in and out of it, and then they're catching a downswing on another stock when Tesla is on an upswing. So you sell Tesla at the top, you make your profits. At that same time, there's another stock that's depressed in the oversold range. They buy into a stock like that, and then just keep on flip-flopping back and forth. Now you have to remember there's a 30-day trading window. So if you end up buying and selling a stock within those 30 days and then rebuying it again, you can't write off those losses. So that's why we see these swings take a few months to happen. So they're kind of swinging in and swinging out over the course of a few months, making their profits, getting into another stock, trading that. That's the very, very basics of it, but that's typically what they're doing right now. And so knowing that Tesla is going to be a good company long term, there's some people who are buying in obviously for the long term purpose. But when you see such heavily retail invested stock like Tesla that you know is going to swing on news and euphoria, you're going to get into that stock because we've already seen typical what happens with a lot of Tesla investors. We see a lot of FOMO and euphoria going up, and then we see a lot of anger and disappointment and paper handing on the way down and disappointment. That's exactly what market manipulators love to see. People who are just emotionally driven by a stock, they're going to swing and they're just going to take those people's money. That's why I constantly say you can't invest with your emotions. They don't belong anywhere in the stock market because you're most likely going to lose every single time. The people who are going to win are the ones who are just manipulating your emotions. So don't be taken advantage of. Be very careful and diligent with your own stock portfolio. So just be cautious. So some of that was financial advice. I'm going to give you that one. Don't invest with your emotions. But when you're picking and choosing whatever stocks you're going to go with, that one's on you. And so diving into the 8K, nothing really big and news that we came out that was any different than the annual shareholder meeting, but the official votes were out and everything came through with the votes. JB Straubel is still going to be a member of the board. Nothing's going to change there. But one of the big things that Brian over at My Tesla Weekend had pointed out was the one that was about the child labor going on for all the cobalt and all the mines. No one voted for it. Not even the people who petitioned and got up there and spoke about it. And to someone's point in Brian's comments over on Twitter, they had said, well, hey, maybe kudos to them for recognizing that Elon answered that question and says, we have no problems going out there and doing a third party audit. We'll do it regardless of whatever the vote is. So kudos to them for saying, you know what? Elon's going to do this. They're going to stand by their word. They mean it. So we're not going to vote for it either. So perhaps that's what ended up playing out. But either way, that was one of the biggest statements that we had seen coming out from the 8K. And now I will dive further into the 8K as well. And if there's anything that you guys had picked up, please put it in the comments below. I'll mention it in tomorrow's live stream. Tomorrow's live stream, not sure what time I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do 6:30 again, but I'm getting out a little bit later from work than usual. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. I'm going to do my best to get on at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time for it. Later this week, just to keep you guys posted, Wednesday, I'm getting my son. I might be able to do a video. Thursday, he's getting an award. Congratulations to my son. We don't know what it is, but I will be at that, so I'll most likely not have a video on Thursday. And then Friday, I will be traveling up to New Hampshire to go on my big long hike this weekend for Memorial Day. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a video out on Friday, how the weekend is going to work, but either way, I'm going to try to keep you guys posted. So definitely no live stream Friday, but I just want to give you guys the schedule and heads up as to what's going on with me. And I'm going to try to get out there and do another one of those hiking videos for you guys because I know you guys love those. We're getting into that hiking season. Give you guys some new fresh background. And instead of, looking at a picture of a mountain here, I'll actually be on the mountain. And that one there is actually the one that I will be climbing this weekend. So all in all, it's really just business as usual with the stock. We're looking at this just swings up and down. I'm very excited. I love to see the stock price going up. I love to see my portfolio growing, but I want to be realistic about the next 12 to 15 months. And just like Elon said, it's going to be questionable for the next 12 months or so. So just be patient. I love these runs, but make sure you keep your emotions out of it. Don't get the FOMO that goes out there. Again, take a look at yourself and ask yourself the question of, what do you think the stock is going to do in the future? How long do you plan on holding it for? What do you think the stock price is going to be over that time frame? And do you think that's going to be a good return on your investment? If the answer is yes, no problem in buying. Again, I still add $20 every single day to Tesla. When it comes down under $150, if we get to that point, I will increase that to $25. And I did tell you guys that I'm going to share with you the purchases I'm going to make based upon all of the super thanks and super chats that you guys had given me last month. And so looking at last month, you guys with all of your super thanks, thank you guys so much. I mean, super thanks to you guys. $172.69. How perfect with that at 69 cents. Thank you guys so much. So that's just short of one share, but you know what? I'm going to increase it. I will be adding one extra share to my portfolio tomorrow. So thank you to all of you guys, because without you and your support, I would not be able to do what I'm doing. And I appreciate all of that. So there it is. One more share will be going into my portfolio tomorrow. That will actually get me just shy of 69 shares. So I might get to 69 shares by the end of this week. I will keep you guys posted once I get it all added up and I put all of my fractional shares into it as well. So I'll share that with you guys tomorrow on the live stream and let you know. But otherwise, one last thing, I've had some questions about why my hair is getting so long. One of the guys that I work with, he unfortunately was diagnosed with some pretty bad aggressive cancer last summer. And because of that, the fire station that he worked at, they're going to be doing a charity event for him, which is Go Bald for a Brother. Well, I was already bald, so the challenge for me was to let my hair grow out so that I could go bald again for him and get some money for that and raise it for the charity. If they offer to give me a couple $1,000s to shave my beard off, that might go as well because he is totally worth it. One of the hardest workers I have ever met, super great guy. So for that, that's going to be going on June 17th. And so that's why my hair has been getting longer because I'm going to be doing that for him to show my support. And, as the trooper as he is, he just talked to our HR and he might be coming back to work. So the dude is awesome. Not going to lie. One of my favorite guys. So that's why my hair has been getting longer. So you've got another few weeks for to see this thing growing out. Maybe I'll start putting it in dreadlocks or something. But otherwise, just wanted to share that with you guys. Otherwise, thank you all so much for your support. I appreciate all of your feedback. Have a great one.